Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching, email coaching, as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to give you guys a more general reminder, let's say, of what conscious manifesting is actually all about. Because yes, we have all the techniques and all the tools at our disposal. Yes, we have the mental diet. Yes, we have the changing the story and all of these techniques and methods. But at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is how you shift yourself from within. And this is ultimately what the outer world reflects back to you. And this is what manifesting is all about. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So all those of you who have been in the manifesting community for at least some time have probably already come across all the techniques that there are, all the different methods, things like mental diet, concepts like revision, ideas like changing the story, persisting in your new reality, perhaps raising your vibration if you're a little more inclined to follow law of attraction. But ultimately, you guys, all of this comes down to one thing. You are changing the old version of who you used to be for a new version of yourself that you have now chosen to create, you have decided to create. And that new version, once it is established and once it becomes dominant in your reality, in your day-to-day life, starts getting pushed back into the outer world. And the outer world reflects that new self, that new version of self back to you. And what that includes is actually a lot of things. It can include your perceptions. You had XYZ perceptions before, and now you have different perceptions about different matters. It might include your whole attitude towards life and your whole outlook of the world and of life in general. It might include things like how you used to think about yourself and about others and about your relationships and what you expected of others and of your relationships and what you're thinking now and what you're expecting now. It may also include how you used to respond or rather react to circumstances in your 3D and how you've come to react or respond now. It might also include things like overcoming subconscious patterns that perhaps used to create the same situation over and over and over in your life. And as you overcome those patterns and as you write over them with your new story and with your new version of self, now you're seeing those patterns breaking and you're now seeing those cycles breaking and finally changing and shifting for you. It may also be, that is very, very common, overcoming fears, insecurities, doubts, things that would hold us back as our old self. And as we now write over them and as we now overcome them, we are becoming a new version who no longer has these fears, who is no longer defined by those old fears. We become a new version who no longer has the same kinds of doubts or the same kinds of insecurities about ourselves, about others, about our relationship, about the world in general. And so you guys, this is what you're doing by shedding your old identity, your old self, in favor of your new identity and your new self. And how that looks like from person to person, obviously it's going to vary because we're all a little different. We all have different challenges. We all have different obstacles or perceived obstacles. We all have different circumstances in our lives. We all come from different backgrounds. So all of us are going to be a little different individually. But at the end of the day, the work that we all do amounts to the same thing for all of us. Some of us might previously have been not very confident and maybe we were very afraid to speak up for ourselves for fear of losing other people in our lives, or perhaps we were afraid that we were not going to be heard, or maybe we felt that we were going to be ridiculed. And so now we're building our self-confidence and we find ourselves speaking up for ourselves. We find ourselves taking more initiatives. We find ourselves reacting and responding to circumstances and situations in our lives much differently from the point of view of a person who is actually confident and secure in themselves. And of course, the result of that inner change and that inner shift is that our outer experiences are going to match this new vibration, if you will, this new identity. Perhaps you notice that more opportunities are starting to come your way. Perhaps you notice that people are starting to treat you differently. Perhaps you notice that more people want to come towards you and be your friends, or maybe you find that you're attracting more people. Perhaps the quality of your relationships and your friendships also changes. You notice that people start to respect you more. You notice that people start to take your opinion into account much more. You notice that people start including you in their plans much more, and so on. And that is just one of very, very many examples. If you had any sort of fears, any sort of insecurities, any sort of doubts about yourself or about your life or about your relationships, or any sort of limiting beliefs, any sort of limiting assumptions, any sort of perspectives that basically sabotage you in your desires and in what you wanted to create, and as you're doing this inner work and this inner practice, you are now finding that you're shedding these in favor of your new identity, you will find that your 3D reality is going to match that. And it's going to start reflecting that more and more in all areas of your life. Not necessarily just the areas that you're manifesting. You will see an all-around change and an all-around shift in all your life patterns, your relationship patterns, your work patterns, your money patterns, your self-concept, your self-confidence, your self-respect, how others respect you, how others treat you, perhaps your social life, even your personal fitness and your personal well-being, even your physical well-being. It goes without saying that usually your mental and emotional well-being also see a vast improvement. And so at the end of the day, this is, you guys, why you're doing all this work. Yes, the techniques are great. Yes, they're a very useful tool. Yes to revision. Yes to mental diet. Yes to whatever techniques you want to do to manifest whatever it is that you want to do. But please realize that it goes deeper than that. It goes to actually shifting your identity from your old self to your new self. And ultimately, this is what manifests your new life and the new reality that you're creating. You might even find that as you're evolving as a person, even your desires themselves start to evolve or even change, or you might even start dropping some of your previous desires because they don't apply to you anymore. They don't feel relevant to you anymore. You don't care about them anymore. I'm not saying that it will happen 100% of the time, but it's not uncommon. It's definitely not unheard of. It happens quite a lot, actually. And so this is, you guys, what you're working towards at the end of the day when you're consciously manifesting and when you enter this lifestyle of becoming a conscious creator of your own life. You transcend your old self for your new self, and your 3D reality follows suit and matches that and reflects that back to you. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.